Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Paul Goddard. I'm the superintendent here at Kirkley Community Schools. And on behalf of our nearly 3,000 students, our faculty and staff, our Board of Education, and our entire Kirkley community, I would like to welcome Governor Whitmer and all our visitors today to Fiedler Elementary. Fiedler is a 4th and 5th grade building serving over 400 students. Kirkley is unique in that we don't have a town. Our district is comprised of several municipalities, making our schools the true center of our community. We pride ourselves on being the community hub and serving our students and families in a multitude of ways. It's no secret that the last few years have presented unprecedented challenges for educators across our state. I am grateful for the way our entire staff has risen up to face these challenges head on. We are fortunate in our district to have added multiple additional positions to support student recovery efforts. We have added additional counseling staff to ensure that each of our 5 instructional buildings has at least one full-time counselor. Next year, all buildings will have a dedicated social worker as well to meet the rising demands of our students' behavioral and mental health needs. We've also added academic interventionist positions at our 3 elementary buildings. These positions were designed specifically to support students who are performing below grade level. Despite these supports, we know more assistance and resources are needed. Many of our students are not performing at the academic level of the same age students prior to the pandemic. Overcoming our pandemic-related challenges will not be a 1, a 2, or even a 5-year fix. I am hopeful that we continue to work collaboratively and creatively with all stakeholders to ensure our students' road to recovery is as quick as possible. It's now my pleasure to introduce Miriam Rasul from Sylvester Groom Empowerment Village. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. This is wonderful. This is just so exciting. So I am the executive director of Sylvester Berman Empowerment Village. We are located in the heart of Flint on the north side. We've been in operation since 2015, and since then we serve 8,000. We've served 8,000 families. Each family is so unique, so we take that approach when serving the community. We pride ourselves on the AAA effect, which is arts, academics, and athletics. All of these are so important to a child's academic career. It's important that we help to support wonderful schools like this one and community members as well. It's important that we understand that kids have to be exposed to all programming in order for them to follow their passion and fulfill their dreams. So funding like this really helps us to fill all gaps in any gap that a child has or a community member has or a school has. We're there to support and give them what's needed. Thank you, and now I'm going to introduce Rachel Huskett.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Rachel Houston. I'm a 5th grade teacher here at Fiedler Elementary, and I'm very pleased to welcome Governor Whitmer to our school. I'm honored to attend this morning's press conference. I've spent my entire career, 25 years, teaching elementary students here at Kirkley Community Schools. As a classroom teacher, I know the challenges that students and families face each and every day, especially since the pandemic. Every parent wants to help the child to get on track for long-term success. Every educator wants their students to thrive, and every student wants to be prepared to pursue their potential. There are times when students need more instruction than the typical school day. After-school tutoring and enrichment programs are a great way to meet that need. I've had the opportunity to run several after-school programs in my career. I facilitated a math enrichment program in which I provided instruction and opportunities for students to improve their skills, work with partners, to focus on inquiry-based mathematics. I've had many opportunities to tutor small groups as well as individual students in specific content areas. I found that tutoring was a chance for me to build special relationships with kids who need extra support and personalized instruction. The impact I saw in children from those programs included social, emotional, cognitive, and academic growth. After-school programs such as these provide a safe, supportive environment for students to learn, grow, and build relationships. As our state continues to address the challenges we faced during the pandemic, programs like these will help close the learning gap. Tutoring is a critical tool for parents to help their kids get caught up and on the right track, and allows students to get help from a caring, qualified adult who is focused on kids' specific learning needs. Being able to offer every student in Michigan extra help with a qualified tutor will help our kids overcome learning challenges they face, and let them demonstrate that with grit, determination, anything is possible. I look forward to hearing Governor Whitmer's announcement this morning about the Michigan Kids Back on Track program and seeing the impact that it will make for Michigan kids. And now I would like to introduce Caroline Hammond. Carly's a 5th grade student here at Fiedler Elementary.
Hello and good morning. My name is Caroline Hammond. I have been a Kirkley student since preschool. I knew that during my last year of elementary, I wanted to make a difference in our school community. Today, I'm going to share with you my experience tutoring my peers. At the beginning of this year, I noticed that the school only had reading interventions, and the students could only get in if they really needed it. The staff told me that they focused on reading because it affects everything. But at least in my class, the students needed more than just reading help. They needed math help too. So I emailed Miss Cummings asking for permission to use the library at lunch on Tuesdays. After I got the permission I needed, I still needed a staff member to help supervise. So I asked our student senate advisor, Mrs. O'Brien, and our student counselor, Mrs. Eggleston. And I got a yes for supervising. All this was very exciting, but I still needed one more piece, the students. So I made a sign-up sheet for them to fill out, and I also made a Google form for the students to see where they were at in math and what they needed help with. After this, we met every Tuesday after winter break. There are other students at other schools that need help with tutoring, so students will reach their full potential and excel in life. That is why I 100% support Governor Whitmer's idea to help schools with tutoring programs like mine. I would like to say thank you to Mrs. Eggleston, Mrs. O'Brien, and Mrs. Cummings for making my dream possible here at Fiedler. Thank you to my family and sister for always supporting me and telling me I can do it. And thank you to Governor Whitmer for making tutoring possible for other schools as well. I would now like to introduce to you our governor for the state of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer.
I mean, that's a tough act to follow, right? Carly, that was fantastic. And as I had the chance to chat with Carly and her parents earlier, what an inspiration to see a young person who sees an issue and wants to solve a problem and create a better place for her community. It's like the best of the best. So you're amazing. So glad to be here with all of you. Appreciate the work that happens in our public schools every single day. But these last few years have pushed us all to rise to the challenge. And I think the greatest inspiration from the superintendent to our teachers, to our librarians, to our community leaders, just so incredibly grateful for all the education leaders that are joining us today and are in the classroom every single day. So we're here to talk about something that is top of mind for every parent in Michigan, and certainly beyond Michigan, but you can include me in that group, is the focus on how do we help our kids catch up and get on track and stay on track for long-term success. We have a tendency to say kids are resilient, and we're absolutely accurate when we say that, but there's no question that the last few years has taken a toll. And that's why I'm proposing the My Kids Back on Track. This is a plan to expand tutoring and other learning supports to students across our state. The reason we are in a position to propose a bold investment in our students is because just a few days ago, last Friday, we got some really good news.
Thanks to effective fiscal management, our innovative small businesses, and hardworking Michiganders, Michigan's economy has grown fast. In March of 2020, so I know none of us wants to go back and relive March of 2020, me included, but we were projecting a $3 billion deficit. A few years later, thanks to all the work that we've done, we are operating with a $7 billion surplus, and we just got word that that's even grown. We've got additional revenue, which we can invest in our quality of life. And the most important thing, I think everyone in this room would agree on, is making sure that our kids get back on track. So My Kids Back on Track would invest some of these resources for our students. So this is how. Last year, under the American Rescue Plan, Michigan schools received federal aid specifically to address unfinished learning. I fought hard to get these resources, and I want to thank people like Congressman Kirkley and Senators Stabenow and Peters. They included these resources in their final bill. Now, parents, when your kids go back to school this fall, you are going to see even more concrete ways that your school is working to get your kids back on track. Lots of schools are already getting it done. I know that there are phenomenal stories here at Kirkley. Just a few miles from here at Carter Elementary in Montrose, they're launching a summer programming that is specifically aimed to close the achievement gap with targeted interventions in each student's individual area of need. The program will also offer transportation, a meal, and a snack, time for kids to be kids and have some fun, something that we all want more of this summer. In Escanaba, the junior and senior high school in the UP is offering before and after school tutoring. They will also add another guidance counselor and social worker to assist with academic and mental health needs. So these are just a few examples of how our students are stepping up and our schools are stepping up with effective in-person support for our students. Now, my values have been clear, and I've said from every State of the State address I've given, students need our support, and students belong in school, and it's because that's where they learn best. The My Kids Back on Track program will double down on tracking unfinished learning by investing what our kids need most. For lots of kids, it just simply means personalized instruction like tutoring, which is a critical tool for parents to help their kids get caught up and get on the right track. Ratasha from Lansing wrote me. She said that encouraging us to work together to help struggling families, people that are struggling with unfinished learning, has got to be absolutely top of our agenda. Parents understand this issue, especially after the challenges of remote learning. And as a mom of two, I've seen it in my own kids. They're a bit older than you, Carly, but even college kids, I think, have had a lot that they've had to navigate. So while students are learning in person today, tutoring goes a step further, complementing our classroom and our in-class instruction in invaluable ways. In a tutoring session, kids get help from a caring, qualified adult who is focused on their specific learning challenges. Tutoring uplifts students at every single level. Whether you're a third grade teacher talking about the solar system, or a third grader who's getting better at fractions, or a junior sharpening their persuasive writing skills, tutoring can make a huge difference. Sometimes it happens after school or during the summer, but in many districts, adding more one-on-one and small group time during the school day is important as well. A good friend of mine, Kevin Polston, who was the chair of our Student Recovery Advisory Council, is now the superintendent in Kentwood, and in his district, they call this small group time an intervention block that they just schedule during the school day, where they give each student what they specifically need. Now, districts can all find recommendations from the Student Recovery Advisory Council online, so that as they continue to analyze what the local needs are, they can respond with evidence-based, equity-driven strategies. We know tutoring is not the only way to get kids back on track, but it certainly is an important piece of the puzzle. I look forward to working with legislators on both sides of the aisle as we work to get my kids, Michigan kids, back on track. If we get this done, we can offer every single student in Michigan, all 1.4 million of them, extra help with a qualified tutor. So to make this program successful, we need all people to be a part of this. Tutoring programs only work if we have tutors, and I'm calling on my fellow Michiganders who want to see our kids succeed to join our effort to get kids back on track. Our kids need you. Kids like Robert and his 2 siblings who live in the Thumb, not far from here. Their internet could barely keep up when they were all online at the same time. Their dad wrote to me noting that Robert was doing well when he was in person, but the remote took a toll and he needs a little extra help. I know we can work together to get Robert, his siblings, and all the students in Michigan back on track. So the answer is helping our kids and get on track for long-term success. And it's not just for their sake, but it's for our collective success. There's not a single, simple, quick silver bullet here. It's going to take a team effort and real commitment, and it's going to require that parents and policymakers and education professionals collaborate. So I'm urging anyone who's recently retired, or parapros, or after-school staff, or stay-home parents, part-time workers, student teachers, college students, anyone who wants an in-demand part-time job to keep an eye out as this next school year starts to ramp up. Please go to michigan.gov/backontrack for more information. From there, we'll keep you updated about opportunities in your community. We'll connect you with your local school, after-school programs, and mentoring opportunities. And you'll decide where your talents can be used best. Apply and complete a background check, and then let's get to work and support our students. A solid education really is the foundation to a good quality of life. We all know that a high-quality public education is the greatest determinant of our future success. When a student gets a great start, learns to read by 3rd grade, and graduates high school, they are on track to land in a good paying job or pursue higher education. And while the last few years have certainly been a huge disruption, from remote learning to social isolation to unprecedented challenges, our kids need a little extra help right now, and we can all be a part of making sure they get it. As we head into the summer, I'm focused on what we can do right now to ensure that our kids thrive in the next school year and the years to come. Our shared goals are clear. Every parent wants to help their child get back on track for long-term success. Every educator wants their students to thrive, and every student wants to be prepared to pursue their potential. Education matters to the private sector as well. Every employer in our state knows a qualified workforce is the most important piece of their success. So getting this right is good, not just for individuals, but for our collective economy and our collective future as a state. We all want our kids to be in school and to be the best. These values have guided not just today's action, but the budgets that I have signed into law and the work that I've done as governor. We've gotten the highest per student funding ever without raising taxes, $9,135 for every student in every district. We closed a gap that was there for decades. That means new textbooks and equipment and more extracurriculars and AP and honors courses. I proposed $1 billion investment in infrastructure so that we can improve facilities across the state to help our kids learn math and science and technology. And I proposed $2,000 bonuses for everyone who works in our schools in hopes that they will come back for another school year and the one after that as well, helping our districts hire and train 15,000 new teachers and hundreds of on-campus mental health professionals, counselors, and career navigators. Our kids are our future. The most important legacy any one of us leaves is the one that we see in our children and in our youngest Michiganders. So this investment is something absolutely essential to getting our kids back on track, and I thank you all for being a part of this announcement today and the work you do every day. Thank you.
We'll open it up for questions now to the governor.
Governor Whitmer, this is $3 billion. That's a lot of money. So how behind are these students?
Well, I think that's every student has their own issues, right? Their own things that they're going to have to navigate, and their own areas where they need a little extra support. And that's why tutoring is such an important part of our getting all of our kids back on track. Not every student is starting from the same place, and that's precisely why this kind of an investment right now is crucial. We have seen some estimates. We know that in a typical summer, there's a lot of learning loss between the last day of school and the first day of the next year, that our teachers work really hard to remediate at the beginning of every school year. That loss is always more profound for kids in tougher socioeconomic situations, and that's why we know that this much bigger disruption of a pandemic has created a lot of challenges for us to get our kids back on track. But every kid is capable. They just need the supports to get them back on track. And that's why tutoring is such a specific way to address the needs that our students have. So $3 billion is an important, crucial investment that we're in a position to make right now, thanks to where our budget is. And it's important now more than ever that we make this type of investment in our kids and in our families.
And you mentioned that each child would be able to get a tutor. So does that mean hiring 1.4 million tutors for these children so that those children each have that one-on-one time?
Well, we don't need a single tutor for every single student. The tutors will be able to meet the needs of multiple students. But it certainly will mean beefing up our workforce and our qualified tutor pool. And that's why we've encouraged people who've maybe recently left education and are looking to get back in and do some good part-time. This would be a great way to do that. Stay-at-home parents who perhaps have some time that they could contribute and getting right in the classes with our kids would be incredibly helpful. There are background checks that need to be done, and that's why we are trying to encourage people to think about jumping in and tutoring students.
We've seen kind of this downfall, though, of education and students struggling for years, even before COVID-19. I mean, why now? Why have waited so long when we started noticing Flint students, started falling grades behind, testing got harder for them? Why now?
I can't speak to why my predecessors didn't stake this out, but I can tell you that certainly with the pandemic, we've had incredible challenges, and I think it's made very clear for people that this is something we've got to rise to this moment on behalf of our youngest generation in Michigan. And so turning this projected $3 billion deficit into a $7 billion surplus, seeing that we've got resources in our school aid budget, this is an additional way that we can enhance the work that our hardworking teachers and parapros and everyone in the classroom and in the school environment, from our bus drivers to our administration, they're doing incredibly important work every single day. They've been through a tremendous amount. How can we supplement to make sure that they're successful, and most importantly that our students are? This is an investment that we can make and need to make right now, and it's more important than ever that we do.
Governor Whitmer, so when it comes to this $3 billion, are there other ways that this money could be invested opposed to tutoring? And is it equal across the board? I mean, you're talking about some school districts have more resources than other school districts. So is it equal?
So there's equal and there's equitable, right? We have equalized our funding for students across the state. We've built in equity by putting more resources into English language learners, students at risk, students with special needs, CTE programs. This is where we built in the equity. It is important that we give our kids a level playing field, and certainly there are barriers for children in a variety of circumstances, and that's why individualized tutoring is the best way that we can equitably help all kids get back to a level playing field.
And is it going to be on the school to hire these tutors when they're already struggling to find other support staff in that school?
Well, part of the reason that we have proposed this plan is to enhance the resources and to help streamline the process so that we can help our superintendents and our administrators across the state, our school boards. These are hard-working people in important positions who are trying to meet the needs of their student bodies. By giving additional resources and focusing our efforts on the best science-based strategies like tutoring, I think is the most important way that we can utilize these resources and make a difference in our students' lives.
And I want to ask you about Gaylord. They didn't have a tornado warning system up there. Is there any talks in the state to invest in that in those northern communities in the state of Michigan?
I can't speak to that. We can follow up with you. I can tell you I was in Gaylord on Friday night, hustled to get up there. It was devastating to see, what happened in the community in such a quick, such a quick, horrifying environmental catastrophe. And so I declared a state of emergency immediately. The Lieutenant Governor was there on Saturday, working closely with all of the first responders to make sure that as we put our application in for the federal government help, that we're able to document everything. So we're moving quickly, but in terms of an assessment of additional things that we as a state can invest in to keep people safe, I'm sure that's a conversation that we'll be having. This was a very unique event, and I know with climate change, we're seeing more and more unheard of climate events that are putting people in danger, and that's why our work to combat climate change as well as to harden our infrastructure, our emergency infrastructure, and our daily infrastructure, both are important things that we have to be doing.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Carly, good job. You want us to stand in front, Levi, or in back?
Yep.
Okay. We needed to see Carly a little bit more. All right. Carly, I got you a step stool. Is that okay if she stands on the table? Yeah. Okay. There.